Namaste, Soul Circle!
I'm Steven.
And I'm Candice.
And we're from Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit, located in Toronto, Canada.
Today, we're discussing some of the goddesses connected to the Crescent Moon. In fact, these goddesses are often considered the Maiden Goddesses. A maiden being someone with her life before her, a coming-of-age story, if you will.
I can relate.
Being a maiden calls upon the energies of fresh new beginnings, manifesting beauty, love, but also strength from within and independence. These particular goddesses also have a strong connection to nature and animals. So let's get earthed, reveling in this beautiful, strong, devoted, and pure energy as we dive into our favorite goddesses associated with the Crescent Moon, such as Aphrodite, Freya, Ishtar,
Diana, Artemis,
Persephone,
and Demeter. So before we get started, be sure to hit like and subscribe and that little notification bell to be sure that you don't miss any of our other videos this month as we dive into the origins and the energy streams of prominent female power consciousness from all different pantheons of belief. You can find the one that resonates the most with you and integrate them into your work. Let's goddess!
Let us start with Aphrodite, whose story connects with Freya and Ishtar. Aphrodite is known as Venus in Roman mythology, Ishtar in Mesopotamian, and Freya in Norse. Most popularly known as the goddess Aphrodite, being one of the 12 gods of Olympus, referred to as the Greek goddess of love, and said to be born of sea foam from the waters of Cyprus. Think of the famous image of her on a giant scallop shell, naked, beautiful, wind in her hair. Right?
Same. Alternatively, some would say that she is actually the daughter of Zeus. Zeus married Aphrodite off because he feared her beauty and her unfleeting desirability would cause wars between the other gods.
Yeah, and it should be noted that the person Zeus married her off to was considered hideous and non-threatening.
Ugh. Oh, the weak and fragile ego of a man, particularly one with power.
Yeah, so some things never change.
Well, regardless of all that, thanks, Dad. Aphrodite went on to have many different lovers and children. Her job was basically to be beautiful, a symbol of desire, passion, fertility, sexuality, and love. She even had a girdle said to have the power to make others fall in love with the wearing of it. She is definitely my spirit animal.
Symbols besides Stephen associated with her are doves, roses, apples, swans, shells, and mirrors, often seen being pulled by a flying chariot pulled by sparrows.
Must be a hard life, right?
The hardest.
Here are some of the ways that you can work with the goddess of love, Aphrodite. Because Aphrodite is largely ruled by emotions, it would be wise to call upon her powers for matters of the heart. So, spill your heart out to her and feel her energy help draw in the love you desire. And remember, Aphrodite is completely inclusive. Everyone can want, ask for, and deserves love.
Absolutely. Another way that you can use her energy is by collecting some seashells, salt water, and pearls and putting them on your altar when you're calling in Aphrodite's specific energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a great goddess to also work on self-love with and embrace the beauty within yourself.
Yeah. And lastly, love comes in many different ways and forms. Aphrodite can help change your perception and make new connections with the beauty of life and the world around you.
Moving on, our second goddess is Diana, who is also connected to Artemis. Huntress goddesses have been worshipped since pre-dynastic Egypt. Diana, most notably known as the Huntress or Moon Goddess, just like her Greek counterpart Artemis, is an example of the continued worship of such goddesses.
This goddess, like other deities, was known for her beauty, said to be tall and look in appearance of age 12 to 19. That's a pretty big bracket.
I looked really different at 12 than I did.
Let's just go with that. Often shown wearing a bow and arrows, clothed in a short tunic, simple sandals, or barefoot, looking much the part of a Roman Greek huntress.
Anyone who's familiar with any of the DC hero movies, Diana is actually the character that Wonder Woman is based off of. Often, she is shown to be accompanied by a deer, hounds, or maidens. Her correlation between hunting, woodland creatures, and the moon would lead many Roman sculptures presenting her with having 3 heads: a dog, a boar, and a horse. And although Diana is primarily known for hunting, she also represents nature, and specifically the woods, as well as wild animals, and as previously mentioned, the moon.
That said, others would know her to symbolically represent purity and chastity. And as her story goes, she would never marry by choice. It's interesting then that throughout history, she is also called upon by women who wanted to conceive or have protection for themselves throughout pregnancy, childbirth, or for their children. She's an OG feminist idol and a protector of the lower class and slaves in Rome.
I love that about her.
I feel like I'm feeling connected to this girl. I like it, right?
Diana is said to be intelligent, pure, and a protector of women, children, and nature. But she also has a reputation for vengeance. Get this. Once a hunter happened to come across Diana bathing naked in a river, and obviously she did not like the fact that he had seen her naked. So, she did as any woman does. She turned his ass into a stag and sent her hounds after him.
Damn!
Oh!
I see you, Diana. Okay. Yeah. Diana can also be called upon specifically on August 13th to protect the harvest from autumn storms, celebrating this through song, dance, baked goods, fresh fruit, and tying your wishes written on ribbons to trees. Other ways to harness energies of this goddess are...
When calling upon her, you can use the color yellow. Candles, cloth for your altar, flowers, or just envisioning a golden yellow hue during your meditation.
You can also call upon this huntress energy when you need to make a decision without regret or uncertainty or confusion. Take some time for yourself, be alone, get earthed, and call your girl Diana.
Ask Diana for passion and purpose, digging deep within and or stepping into something new. She can protect you fiercely, but with a pure, open heart. She can help you lead with love. Go outside and connect to nature.
Because of her association with the moon ceremonies are a perfect time to connect with this goddess, helping to bring your dreams to light or life.
Now on to one of my favorite myths of goddess culture. This is Persephone and Demeter. Now, goddess Persephone, also known in Greek mythology as the queen of the underworld and wife of Hades, is actually a maiden goddess archetype representing the growth of spring. The story goes that Persephone was one day happily frolicking in the flowers with her nymph companions when she was taken by Hades to the underworld to be his bride.
Her mother, Demeter, searched everywhere for her daughter with the help of fellow goddess Hecate,
who we talked about last week.
They did this with torches in hand. Demeter came to know that Zeus, Persephone's father, consented and conspired in their daughter Persephone's abduction. Justly, Demeter was pissed, and she refused to allow any growth of fruit take place on earth until her daughter was returned. Zeus figured the better option was to return Persephone, but because Persephone had already eaten the fruits in the underworld,
those damn pomegranates.
They get you every time, she could not fully return to earth. So Persephone would leave Hades and bring with her the blooming of flowers, what we now mark as spring. Then she would return to Hades for the other half of the year, which we now mark the dying of plants or pause of growth, winter.
One then could consider Persephone as a dual deity, residing and ruling over the dead while simultaneously being the goddess of fertility and growth, sometimes called the maiden or the mistress. Hold up, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have to call bullshit on a little bit of the whole Persephone story.
Ooh.
I think so. Yeah. Remix! There's a part of this story that has been retold over the years. The original story of Persephone meeting Hades usually goes along with how she was out in the forest, in the meadow, and she's staring in the water. And Hades is often depicted, even in the Disney movie, as this like twisted, strange-looking person. But if you actually look at original descriptions of him, yeah, he's a babe. He's like
I watched
Romeo.
Hercules and Xena.
Right.
Hades was a babe.
He's a stud. So
that's the whole point.
Yeah, right?
Lure you to the underworld.
Right.
Hot babe.
And you know what? I think the actual story, because there's not a lot ever told from the perspective of the woman over history, ever.
What?
Right?
If you have pearls, now is when you clutch them.
Yeah, right?
So, in shock and surprise.
So she saw this beautiful, striking man with dark features, unlike anything she had ever seen in her meadow, and she chose to follow him. And I think there's a lot more about her choosing the wildest, most illicit, most, like, the whole world would fall apart when she's in the arms of her most darkest romance.
There's not going to be any stories in history that are going to be retold over the course of time to bring us to 2021 that are going to talk about those feelings.
A woman making a choice.
Or a woman, a woman feeling anything besides whatever the author wants her to feel for their agenda.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Also, traditionally, when we were talking about gods of the underworld, we definitely weren't glorifying his romantic past with other goddess maidens.
No. I'm talking specifically about the goddesses' story, or any story told from the voice of the woman. Yeah. And we know that throughout history, the stories are told from the viewpoint of men, particularly white men. Yeah. Heterosexual Christian white men. That's white history. Right. So the other stories and the other versions of things become almost like a sidestep, a little myth floating in the background over here, when in reality there's probably so much more to be told and felt and experienced when hearing the other party's version of things.
If she's always returning in spring, girl always goes back in fall. She always chooses darkness. So, duality. the longing lust in her eyes.
Choosing darkness. God, there was a time.
Moving on.
So, calling upon the energy and wisdom of this particular goddess can help you in situations of dying in sick plants or crops, forgiveness, strained parental relationships, becoming your true self, and self-love.
You can choose to work with this goddess in the spring around Beltane and make a flower crown, sit by water, and take in the new growth around you.
Yeah. You can also work with crystals such as quartz, agate, black onyx, pink tourmaline, sapphire, obsidian, and jasper.
Colors that you can work with would be green, black, light blue, purple, magenta, and yellow.
Work with Persephone at the end of the warm seasons. Mabon, eat a pomegranate just as she did.
Ooh, maybe my dark prince will appear.
Right? Find yourself a Hades and have some fun in the shadows.
And of course, you can finish by working with ylang ylang, sweetgrass, or sandalwood. And if you find yourself in an instance where maybe you are looking for something or searching or longing, you can actually work with Persephone's mother, Demeter. She is also known as she spent her entire myth searching and longing for her daughter, and there's a lot of commitment and consciousness there. Great goddess to work with for that.
Absolutely. So be sure to comment below and let us know which of these goddesses resonate with you. Who do you identify with? And make sure to come back next week for our full moon goddesses. So hit the like and subscribe to our channel so that you can find your way back to us.
In the meantime, Arcana releases 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 o'clock. On Mondays this month, we are discussing the different phases of the moon and how you can use their energies to manifest and change your life. Wednesdays, we're continuing with our moon signs, and on Fridays, we work with our goddesses. You know what? I love this content.
This has been a great month.
So good.
So, many blessings. See you next episode. Much love.
Namaste, Soul Circle.